Hey Ty, it's Dr. Scott. I have some feedback for you on your Essay 2 draft. Just as a quick reminder, there were 4 criteria that I'm looking for in this assignment. The first is a thesis statement that's clear, it's concise, so it doesn't have a ton of words in it, that, you only are using enough language to kind of get your point across. I'm also looking for a thesis statement that's debatable, something that you can actually argue and it's not just like an observation. The second criteria that I'm looking at is your ability to use details from the murals and also a couple quotes to support what it is you have to say to kind of support your argument, support that thesis statement. Third, I'm looking at your ability to organize your ideas, so you have ideas that are similar ideas are grouped together, and then you have a reason why you're moving from one idea to another. And transitions help with that, but it also matters more that you have a reason for why paragraphs and ideas are located in the place that you have them. And finally, I'm looking at your ability to integrate a couple sources. So what I did is I just wrote a few quick comments to myself about your draft. They're just to remind me of things to talk to you about. And then at the end, I have like a short to-do list for you. Your draft has a ways to go, so don't be shy about asking me questions about it, making sure that you get this essay where it needs to be. First thing I notice is that my name is Scoot. Scoot. I thought it was pretty funny. I love this first sentence. It's well stated, and I like that. Murals are a way to express the history, significance, and the messages within a town. I think it's that messages thing. That's the thing we need to talk about a bit. Here, in this, I didn't read this sentence as your part of your thesis statement. I read this as your thesis statement, and there needs to be some change here. But I think that there's actually an idea in this second to last sentence in the first paragraph that is relevant to revising your thesis statement. So the message that I see through these murals is how Portsmouth stayed together. That idea of togetherness and unity, that is something that a lot of folks, they're able to write pretty well about with these 2 murals that you've decided to work on. Thing is that togetherness idea is not part of your thesis statement. Right now, and if I'm reading this as your thesis statement, you're just saying that it tries to convey, and you need to take a stand. Does it or does it not convey the struggle and success Portsmouth had through the use of setting and color? I think, one, you need to, like I said, take a clear stand here, but then also, there's not really much of an argument. It's kind of like saying the murals show good times and bad times. And it's kind of, yeah, a flood's not a good thing. Yeah, and that there were times better than a flood. That's not really debatable. It's not really an argument to that. But if you say that the murals, those 2 murals successfully convey togetherness, unity, how hardworking the town is, like, okay, you got something that we could debate. So the thesis statement itself needs to get tweaked a fair bit, and then the body paragraphs need to get tweaked themselves so that they align, so that they match up with that new thesis statement that you have. This first body paragraph, it seems like it's about setting, but it read more to me like it was a second introductory paragraph, and I wasn't really sure what this paragraph was doing, like what the overall point of it was. I know that you're trying to write about setting, like where the murals are actually located, but I think you could have made that argument about any of the murals that are there. Like it's not just the 37 and the Good Times mural or the Chillicothe Street mural. You could have said this about any of the murals. So for me, I was just really kind of confused, like what this paragraph was trying to do. And it might work, and it might just be like you had a different idea that I'm not picking up on. So if there's something more to this paragraph, let's chat about it. If not, then some of this might be useful for the introduction. You might have to work it into the introduction. Like you wouldn't just kind of cut and paste it. But right now I didn't understand how it was helping you support that thesis statement. I think when you say actual setting, it's like what the setting that the murals are depicting. That's what I kind of picked up on, and I think that's fine. I think that's a fine argument, or a fine topic to write about. But as far as it being right now, again, the argument is not very clear. It's not very argumentative. So just saying that the setting helps with good times, bad times kind of thing, there's not much of a debate to that. But does the setting help convey an idea of togetherness or unity? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I think you can make that argument. And just so you know, like some people, when they do that togetherness idea in these two murals, it's fine to say, and other students are doing this, they'll say like, in the 1937 flood mural, it really shows togetherness. And it shows togetherness far less in the Chillicothe Street mural. And the overall argument that they're making is that when bad times are here, the community comes together. When good times are here, we kind of focus on appreciating our environment and appreciating what we have. And I think that's an argument that that you're hinting at places, and it needs to take over as kind of like the main argument for the overall paper. Let's see. So actual setting, I think you're talking about what they're trying to depict. I noticed that in this paragraph is all about the 37 flood. And this is an issue that comes up every time somebody tries to write a paragraph that's about one mural and then another paragraph that's about another mural, is that there's a lot of summary in here. And you're kind of saying, you're just kind of listing the details or listing things that you notice in the mural. And there's not really much discussion about how these details are helping to support a claim that you're making. And I think that gets to the bigger issue, is that right now the paper's not making that much of a claim. And I think once you fix that and you start explaining how these details work with that bigger claim, you're going to see that there are things that you need to cut because they don't really work with that revised thesis statement. And you're going to find that there are items that you need to talk about a bit more to explain how they relate to that revised thesis statement. I can't emphasize what I just said, how important that is to revising this essay. So if you have to go back and listen to that again, do that. If you have to ask questions about what I just said, do that. But that is absolutely key to revising this essay and doing well on this assignment. So is there anything after this? Yeah, this paragraph, it felt like you were just, I'm not sure where to go with this. And that's totally fine. Again, don't be shy about chatting with me about that stuff in the future. Alright, so your little to-do list here, if I can get it to pop up. Here we go. Revise the thesis statement so it's making an argument and that it can be debated. Talked about that a fair bit. Let me know if you're struggling with that. Clarify that first setting paragraph. I wasn't exactly sure what you were getting at there. And sometimes, Ty, when you and I talk, like we're not on the same page sometimes. And when we figure out when we are on the same page, it's like, oh yeah, that was making sense. So that might be what's going on here. Number 3, make sure each paragraph is discussing both murals. I think that's a must. Because you're making an argument about both murals. And if you're arguing that the setting in both murals is trying to convey togetherness, or successfully conveys togetherness, that is something that you need to talk about in the context of both murals. 4, make sure you're explaining your details in your paragraphs and explaining how those details support your point or thesis. So there's sometimes a tendency for folks to list a bunch of details and at the end just say, yeah, all that equals togetherness, or all that equals pride or whatnot. You need to kind of explain the different ways that pride or togetherness or whatever concept that you're going to write about, how those are evident in those details. And that's a tough one. So if you're struggling with that, don't beat yourself up too much. It's difficult. So that's my feedback. If you have questions, make sure that you reach out to me. Don't let this slide. Your revision's due Monday the 12th. If you need a little bit more time, I can work with you on that. But again, let's get this one put to bed so that you can focus on that third essay. All right, that's it for now. I'll talk to you soon, Ty.